right, now we're into Neo. Neo's been in the news quite a bit here lately, right? He's has some opinions, and then looked like he might have backtracked, and then now he's saying, "Nope, not backtracking here." So
It wasn't me.
it wasn't me, right? So Neo was interviewed in the first interview, not first interview, but in that interview, he talked about kind of about parenting and parents forgetting to be parents. He's talking about how when did parents stop remembering to be parents? He's talking about how if a 5-year-old comes up to you and says, "Hey, Daddy, I want to be a girl," and he's questioning, and you let him rock with that. He's talking about how if a kid wants to eat candy, if you let him eat candy, he's gonna eat candy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that when did parents forget to be parents and kind of help and kind of jump in to intervene on some of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about how when he was in his era, that he said there's only two genders: a man's a man, a woman's a woman. And he said, and he mentioned that. He has love for the LGBT community plus community. He said that, but he said that if you identify as goldfish or whatever he said that's fine. That doesn't bother him, none of his business. But it is business when you start bringing him to play that game. When you ever get to make him call you a goldfish. That's where he says he draws the line and that's kind of what the first interview was about. And he got some heat about that, and then shortly after on Instagram you saw this apology go up on it, and then after that he deleted that apology and put up this video.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls, okay? That's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question and I answered the damn question, okay? I have no beef with the LGBTQIA plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank, and that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neo no more, all right? And I got no problem with that. I'm a hustler, all right? I'll figure it out. I got kids to raise, and I'm going to do that regardless. So, with that being said, y'all have a good day. I love everybody. Live how you want to live, love how you want to love, but your opinion is yours. Speak your opinion as much as you damn well feel like it. Because, as I said, they're not important. They're not special. Everybody got one, and you're entitled to it. I'm entitled to mine, all right? Y'all feel how y'all want to feel. Have a great day. It's Neo. Peace and love.
You saw that video, Rob? What do you think?
I agree for the most part with a lot of things he was saying in the video. I don't think he should have to apologize for stating his opinion on what he thinks about, people that, parents who do that with their kids. I kind of think back on, when I was growing up, I used to, play and say, hey, I'm a Power Ranger today, or I'm a dinosaur and stuff like that. And as parents, you should be able to, recognize or at least, teach your kids that, this is fantasy and this is a reality and stuff. And so, like he says, in the video, he does mention that he has 5 boys and 2 girls. And so he definitely has the cachet to state how he feels and how he wants to raise his kids and the way that he wants to raise them. And if people don't agree with that, they have the right to not agree with it, just as the same if it was reversed. They may not agree that it's okay for a parent to raise their kid as a boy, and he says there's a girl, and so he can counteract that.
Yep, and I forgot the one thing forgot to mention on the first interview. He mentioned all that in the context of what I said. He said in the first interview that he apologized for it and didn't apologize for it now. What he was saying there, all that was in context of saying he doesn't think kids at an early age should have any kind of surgery or anything like that.
Yeah.
For like sexual gender reassignment or anything kind of thing to change that up at such an early age, right? And for me, like I said, for him, I give him like his kudos for coming out and saying, "Hey, no, I don't like Paul. Like that wasn't me. That was that. I actually feel like this. I'm sorry if it offends you, but that's how I think." Because I applaud him for the reason that he's standing up for what he's believing, and he should not have to, like you said, apologize for his opinion.
Yep.
You know, not everybody's gonna have the same opinion as you, and that's the world we live in. Deal with it.
Yep.
Straight up.
Can't demand someone agree with your opinion when you know that's their right and that's their freedom to be able to have their own.
Well, yeah, it goes back to kind of how like we just mentioned in the other video about a mom taking the son to being an animal. Like he mentioned, like, okay, you can identify as an animal, but then when you start making me have to say he's an animal or making it a vet work on him, now again, where's the line?
Yeah, that's you. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, you know, and I feel like Neo was talking about his philosophy as a parent and what he grew up and what he was. And I feel like parents have to be able to parent. That's their kid.
Yeah.
You know, you can't force it on somebody to parent some way their kid. That's how it is. That's their kid. And, you know, bravo for Neo sort of standing up and saying how he's going to, you know, raise his kids. That's totally fine. You might not agree with it, but, hey, that's his kid again, and that's your opinion. That's his opinion.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, and as a parent, you shouldn't rely on, you know, or, you know, you'll have outside sources, you know, like teachers or, you know, people in school, you know, teach your kids something. But when you start going out of, you know, the subject of learning and start talking about their personal beliefs and, you know, what their, you know, background is and trying to teach that to, you know, the people that they're teaching and the kids that they're teaching and stuff, parents have the right to like, no, I don't agree with that. And you shouldn't be teaching that. You should stick to the books, stick to history, speak to this.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the big issue right now in America, I feel like, is like what can be taught and what can't be taught, right? It's kind of like all this different stuff, and I feel like that stuff should be taught by the parents.
Yeah.
It should be the parents' responsibility to teach that stuff. Or at minimum, send a permission slip to the parents to sign so that your kid can be in this class or learn about this stuff, like whatever stuff they're going to teach, and let the parent opt in or opt out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if your kid wants to be in this, great. They can sign this and they'll be in this class. We're going to teach this. If not, they'll go have a pizza party thing over here or something, or go to the gym, have an extra recess or something like that, right? Or maybe it's a study hall, whatever it is. But you know, give an option at bare minimum. But I agree with you, man. Like parents have a right to say, no, we don't want this to be taught to our kids and stuff like that. Because I feel like parents, the number one thing is what they need to do is they need to be able to, especially nowadays, is have that conversations and talk with their kids early on.
Yeah. So
if there's something that is being taught that they don't believe in, they can intercept it at that time, and they can deal with it like, hey, the teacher said this, that stuff is out there, but here we don't believe that. We do this, this, right?
Yeah.
And have that strong connection, have that relationship with your child. Where it comes iffy now is with the way the world is, people working 2 jobs. A parent might be a single mom that's working 2 jobs, barely sees her kid. Now that kid is being taught by the teacher everything. That kid's going to come back, and maybe that mom doesn't believe in that stuff, but guess what now? She doesn't have the bandwidth to talk to this kid or have that relationship just like because she has to work and put food on the table and everything like that. And now that's unfair because now the mom doesn't have a say in it.
Yeah.
You know, or the dad, whoever it is, mom, dad, they both are working, whatever it is. But I'm saying that there's that kind of aspect you can look at as well. So I said the bare minimum, at least have like a permission slip or something sent home, right? When we're talking about school and stuff like that. But going back to, again, what Neil was saying, though, in general, is like he has opinion. That's what he believes in. He mentioned it. You know, not everything anybody says, not everybody should not be 100% agreeing with it. That's not the world we live in.
Yeah, and we saw that, you know, kind of growing up where a big thing was separating church from schools. And so you slowly started seeing them not do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore because it said, you know, had, you know, God references and stuff. They were, you know, protesting about on the dollar bill removing, you know, in God we trust off the dollar bills and stuff like that. So it was really a big argument about, separating church and schools, and now that you're seeing that sexual orientation, some of that stuff, and their beliefs are getting pushed in schools too. So do you have that same controversy, or as a country and the world's being more accepting overall, do you allow that stuff? Or as a parent, like you said, do you have the ability to say, no, I don't want that in school, shouldn't be taught that, stick to the subjects, and don't be mad at me if I'm going to pull my kid out and go to a different class or go to a different school?
I mean, that's why I think you're seeing an influx, I think, now of homeschooling is going a lot higher now, and I think private school is starting to get more popular due to this stuff.
And
all those are getting more popular now because they have a curriculum that they'll stick to. Like if they're homeschool, you know what's going to be taught. You're teaching the stuff. If it's at a private school or whatnot, you know what the curriculum is going to be, and it's going to be strict to that. If you're now goes to the public school, is kind of where you might get some of this other stuff that that maybe the parents don't believe or want to be talked about, that they have no control over really what they should have, because again they're taxpayers paying money as well to these schools to fund these schools, so they should, right? So I believe. Yeah, there just has to be curriculum and needs to be stuck to that curriculum. And if you are going outside of that curriculum, whatever, you have to notify and get something signed by the parent at least, saying that it is okay to teach the kid this, right? Because give the parent bare minimum at least a choice of yes, no on something at minimum. That's
even sex ed classes were a big thing and stuff, and there was always a big controversy. Like, all right, what grade are we allowed to start talking to kids about sex ed? Is it is elementary school too young? Is junior high too young? I think for us, going into junior high and high school is when we typically had our sex ed classes.
We had ours.
They're mature enough.
Yeah, I remember freshman year we had like sex health class, right? But
it's more the anatomy of the body.
Yeah, more anatomy. But we actually had a sex ed class in like 7th grade, I want to say.
Yeah, we had like a
6 or something like that.
I think for us they separated the guys and girls.
Yep,
and
that's what they did.
About the male anatomy and
I think that they did it twice. So I think what happened was in 6th grade, and then they did it again in 7th or 8th grade. They did it, and then but again, both times there were permission slips sent home, and my parents had to sign it.
Yep.
Right. So I think again and again, some kids didn't attend it, right? And that's the parents' choice, and that's their choice. So that's great. Let them have that choice.
Yep.
Simple as that. And I just think, if you're gonna live life thinking everybody should agree with your opinions, then you're not gonna be a happy person in life.
Not everyone's going to agree with everything you have to say.
No, and not everybody needs to apologize if they have a different opinion from you,
or they have to agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just the whole, like again, we're applauding Neo definitely mainly for being able to stand up and being like, hey, I believe in X, and I'm not going to say sorry because I believe in X, and standing up to the threat of cancellation. Because over here, if you've been watching our podcast, you already know we don't like cancellation, right? We're over that. Like, we don't want to see that, and so we're just glad Neo stood up to it, know, and go from there, right?
So I'm sure there'll be more people, backlashing his reply.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be already gonna be happening with that kind of stuff. So I mean, I just think with Neo, he just needs to he said his piece in that video. The second one, I think he did it fine. And I think he doesn't need to respond anymore to it. His position's what it is. He said it, and let him have his position, whatever it is, and let him rock with it. That's what he's doing.
Yep. So. We're here for you, Neo.
Yep. Exactly. So I agree, 100%.